Our next speaker, the second speaker, will be explaining some misconceptions in the plumbing and heating industry. He is trying to improve his communication skills in explaining concepts. He is asking that you provide feedback in what helped explain these concepts and what may have confused you. His speech is the 25th speech from the basic manual. The speech is entitled Cave Walking, Jumping from a Train, and Ferris Wheels. His speech will be 4 to 6 minutes. Please help me welcome Bob.
All right, explaining concepts. Is anyone tired, sleepy, want to yawn? Okay, great. Jennifer, great. First, I would like to comment on the previous speaker. All I could think about was Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. Do you remember the scene where he's in a brown uniform and he's kicking the packages all the way down the hall? And that's all I could think of. Well, how many of you, has anyone in this room taken thermodynamics class or heat transfer? You have? Well, please refrain from asking any questions. I don't really want to get into the dark and wide box equations and things like that. So we're going to keep it simple, okay? Jennifer,
Yes.
You're tired, right?
Sure.
When you're walking in a cave, would you prefer to walk the length of the cave where it's 8 feet tall up to this point and then it's 2.5 feet tall there? That's option 1. Option 2 is 2.5 feet all the way across. Which would you prefer walking through?
Option 1.
Option 1. You are just like water. You're lazy. No. Path of least resistance. In nature, it's in human nature and also Mother Nature to path of least resistance. I don't know why. I'm here to talk about misconceptions in the plumbing and heating industry. I don't know why people, anytime a piece of equipment has a connection, they want to connect. Whatever that size is, that's what the line going to it is. That's not the case. It doesn't matter what the connection size is. A lot of times because you want turbulent water to flow so that you can get good heat transfer. So it does not matter one bit, one iota, what the equipment connection size is. It's all about path of least resistance. And there are guidelines for pipe sizing, but that's misconception number 1. Equipment connection size doesn't matter. Size the line properly. Jennifer, when you're jumping off of a train, would you prefer, option 1 is 100 miles an hour or 5 miles an hour? Is option 2.
Option 2.
Option 2, 5 miles an hour. You would prefer to slow down. Okay. Well, and when we're talking about BTUs, how many of you are familiar with BTU? That's British Thermal Unit. It's the amount of energy it takes to raise 1 pound of water 1 degree. When we're talking about BTUs, a lot of people say, well, the water's not cooling off enough. You need to slow that water down. Shut a valve part of the way so it slows down and gives up more heat. That sounds reasonable. Wrong. A BTU is actually more robust. It is one tough hombre. It doesn't matter. It doesn't want the train to slow down. It actually is always ready to jump off, just like in the airplane. When I picture a BTU jumping off water, the heat and energy, when I picture it jumping off, I see a plane where they're all lined up to jump out and parachute. It doesn't matter. They're tough. Remember, BTUs are like Marines. They're tough. They don't have to wait for it to slow down. So that's misconception number 2. BTUs aren't like us. They will jump off when it goes through faster. Jennifer, when you were younger, did your husband take you on a romantic Ferris wheel ride? You don't remember? Oh, I'm so sorry. Does anyone remember when you get on a Ferris wheel if it's empty, or let's say there's two people or two groups of people, it's actually, he will put you on and go halfway around and put the other person on. They never put everyone on one side of the Ferris wheel. Well, it's like that with plumbing. Whenever it's a closed heating system, when you have water solid within your house, when you're pumping water, you're just circulating that water, because energy it takes to go up, you have that same energy going down. So whenever a plumber will call and say, I need a circulator, or no, actually it goes like this. Yeah, give me a pump. Well, what kind of pump? One for a house? Well, it's about 2 stories tall. Why do you say 2 stories tall? Well, it's got, because of vertical lift. That pump's got to lift that water all the way up. But in reality, it doesn't. All it does, like a Ferris wheel motor, all it does is actually move. All it has to have the power to move, because any energy it takes to go up, it has that same weight and energy to go down. So all it's doing is actually circulating the Ferris wheel. So remember, whenever you want to call me about a pump, you don't have to tell me about vertical lift. Okay, Jennifer? So, that's the 3 misconceptions. 1 is equipment connections. 2 is you don't have to slow the water down to get more heat, more energy off. And also vertical lift doesn't have anything to do with sizing a pump in a closed heating system. Now, I would like to point out that I didn't come up with these concepts on my own. I got the first one because I am smart enough to know that I'm not smart enough to come up with these things. So I think that's pretty exceptional in itself, right? John B. Klein from Jasper came up with the cave walking, which I thought was a great insight. John Siegenthaler, a writer for Hydronics, talked about jumping off the train, and Dan Holohan talked about the Ferris wheel. So in conclusion, remember, when as humans, we're lazy, cave walking, we want taller, right? Taller, we don't want to crawl. Jumping off a train, BTUs are tough hombres. They don't have to slow it down. And 3, when you're thinking about a pump and vertical lift, remember that romantic Ferris wheel ride that you were on as a youth. Me either. I don't know.
Please take a moment and make some comments for Bob.